Hi, this is Erin, and welcome to Everything EFL, my little podcast about English language teaching and other teachy stuff too. Credit and honourable mentions will be given during the episode or in the show notes. Let's crack on. Hello, you gorgeous teacher. Welcome back to Everything EFL. If you are a regular listener, you are most welcome back. I love having you every week. And if you are a new listener, lovely to have you too. This is a great episode to start on. I have with me a woman. This woman, well, I'm going to let you decide what you think of this woman. I think she is amazing. Please welcome Ola Kowalska. Was that correct?
Wow. I love the pronunciation. Oh my God. I don't think anybody's ever done it so well. I mean, a foreigner, obviously.
So
thanks so much, Erin.
Oh, it's absolutely my pleasure. And perhaps this will be a good chance for you just to tell everybody who you are and what you're doing.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me. And I'm very excited as well, because I think we're so much at the same wavelength. And I was really excited to have this chat with you. So a few words about me. I'm Ola. I've been in the EFL industry for about 12 years now as a teacher trainer, manager, school owner, and most recently as a mentor and a coach for EFL, ELT professionals. I've worked in many contexts and I've done many things because I've always been looking for something more exciting and more satisfying, I guess. So that's why I've tried so many things. I worked both in Poland, where I'm from originally, and in the UK, where I qualified as a CELTA trainer as well, and where I opened, which doesn't really matter because it's online, I opened my online business last year. It was first an online school and then stepped away from it to become a coach and a person who helps other people build their businesses, build their presence, take their first steps online as well.
Brilliant. And mentioning, talking about that transition from teacher to mentor or coach, because I know you're passionate about this, why should EL teachers perhaps step away from working for someone and work for themselves?
I don't think it's a question of should, but I just see the only thing I see are benefits of that. And I think this has become especially prevalent in the pandemic. Unfortunately, schools, language schools have literally closed down, or they are in quite a bad financial situations. Their hourly rates have been cut. We know what's happened in China. So even if people were happy with their work, now the situation is actually getting worse. There is a list of problems that people kind of have that are associated with working for somebody else. But I think especially in the ELT industry, my favorite line that I hear ever so often is, it's just that industry, which people use as an excuse to explain why people make less than £10 or €10 an hour, or even less than 5.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah, I was going to say, I was going to say that I would argue that conditions are bad anyway, never mind the pandemic.
Exactly. So I wasn't going to, because, I was in the industry as a teacher, and I don't want to say that all of this time was wasted or absolutely awful, but, we all know that nobody ever goes into ELT for money because we know how bad it is, but it doesn't have to be, because there are ways of making it actually quite comfortable, at least comfortable for yourself.
Absolutely. And how has your life changed since becoming self-employed?
Oh my God. It's become my dream life, really. I've always been a bit of a rebel. I've never really liked anyone telling me what to do. My latest sort of job that I had was an admin job. I worked as an assistant director of studies in a language school. I know. And It gave me stability. It gave me what I needed at that time, which was, that kind of safety. And especially in that industry, when you're usually paid by the hour. And that's what I needed at that time, because I was just starting my family. But it got boring. It got under challenging, and it was just, wow.
Thankless is the word I would use. Absolutely thankless.
Yeah, unfortunately. So maybe had it been like, more responsibilities, I wouldn't have been so bitter about it, but unfortunately it wasn't. And again, lockdown made me realize that my priorities are different. I actually like working from home. I actually like seeing my child for more than an hour a day, because that's what used to be the case when I worked in London, commuting and everything, and it's just mental. And working with my husband, it's great. And now we've got that freedom of movement, and the money is better. The list is endless.
Brilliant. I would also say that, I think lockdown has given a lot of people a lot of time, and more importantly, headspace, which is a word I use a lot, especially when I'm talking to people about stuff like this. I think you can only really make a change and put that into motion when you actually have the headspace to think about what you've done, to reflect and what you want to do and all of that. And I think the pandemic has been a perfect opportunity. Awful though some aspects of it were, it gave some people the opportunity to actually go, do you know what? Don't want to do this anymore.
Exactly. I couldn't agree more. I was just going to say that I actually did something very risky, because at some point my family's sort of idea of exactly, do you know what? This is not how we want our life to look. Took a big turn when we decided to actually move out of London and buy a house. So I actually quit my job in London, which, I know a lot of people wouldn't be prepared to do, because, not everybody can afford to lose that financial stability. But what I'm trying to say is we need to somehow create that headspace and that time and space to reflect on, is that really what we want to be doing? Do we want to find more work and more hours for people who don't really care if we have any sort of work-life balance? Or maybe not, or maybe we want a bit more from life.
Yeah. You obviously you had a lot of self-belief then also. I think that must have been part of it as well.
True. Yeah. I guess I've never been really afraid to take big leaps and to risk things. I don't know whether it's just my character, but it's not like I don't have doubts or fears. It's not like I think that whatever I do is just going to be successful. Obviously not, but I'm not that reckless. But there's always been a certain level of, do you know what? If I really put my mind to it, I can have it. And I can build a life that I actually want to live. And that didn't used to be the case when I was younger, because I used to believe that, for example, as a young teacher, you have to go through some sort of rite of passage. So, for example, you have to make really bad money, work for some really bad schools, just because somebody gives you an opportunity to work, gives you hours, and you're a bit desperate. But it's change. You obviously grow up as as time passes. So I don't know, life taught me that.
You become a little bit less, what's the word I'm looking for? Not less satisfied, but less, oh God, this is going to take me a while. I'm tired. It's Friday, everyone. Less willing to put up with certain things. Especially as you get older, your tolerance level, you get grumpy and ratty and easily irritated.
Exactly. And it's not a bad thing at all. I think it's whatever it is, it's because it is a little bit of that negative push that's sometimes all you need in order to gain control of your life, really.
Yeah. So what fears did you have about becoming self-employed, and how did you overcome them?
Good question. So the biggest fear was, what if it doesn't work? What if I have to go back to I don't know, office admin work? It gave me shivers.
Shudder, yeah.
Oh God. And like, obviously for a few months I had to rely on my husband to support me. So it wasn't the greatest feeling, because I'm very independent. So I guess that was the biggest fear. And also, what if people don't need it? What if people don't like what I've got to offer? But there was no other way rather than just trying it out to find out.
And if I've learned one thing from you, it's, yeah, there are a lot of people doing the same thing as you, but it's about you being, and I really hate this phrase, but it is about being your authentic self, and just being who you are. And that should be enough. It should be enough.
Exactly.
If you have passion, I think that's the key. I think if you're not passionate, you know, that's going to show through. And conversely, if you are passionate, that will shine through. And you are so passionate about what you do. Like, it's brilliant.
I am. And the more I do it, it's like it literally perpetuates itself. The more I try things out, because it's not like I've got everything figured out. The more I try things out and the more people react positively to it, the more I do, the more authentic I am, because it's really what I believe in. And it's amazing. If there is ever any piece of advice that I always offer, it's take action. Don't be afraid to take action and try things out for yourself.
Absolutely. And I think also, if you do have a plan to maybe change careers or something, it can seem insurmountable. But, you know, I think I've developed this mindset of like, if you do something every day, just something small, even if it's send an email to someone, you're moving forward. But you just keep it consistent and do something every day. I think that's like the way to start anyway. It just breaks it down and makes it seem less like of this massive mountain you have to climb.
Exactly, precisely. And it's all about, it's also a skill to get used to being a bit afraid, you know, to get used to being a bit uncomfortable, because that's basically growth. And I know all of this sounds like those, you know, concepts, the authentic self and
growth mindset,
blah 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 blah. But you know what? It's actually true.
It is.
The funniest thing.
Yeah, they're just like really kind of wanky buzz phrases, aren't they?
Yes,
but they are
totally. They're
essentially true.
But then I live through them. I'm the living example of the fact that I've become comfortable with being uncomfortable about growing a business, sales, things that honestly 2 years ago, it was something that I would never think I would ever do, really. So
yeah, I think you're absolutely right about getting comfortable with that fear. Like, it's always going to be there. It always has, and it always will be. And if I've learned something from RuPaul, it's that you have to confront your inner saboteur. And I'm sure I spoke about this on one of my other episodes, but you've got two choices. You can listen to it, or you can tell it to fuck off and keep moving forward. And that's where I am now as well. And it's a very powerful feeling. And it is always there. That little devil, I can literally see that devil on my shoulder whispering in my ear, and my stomach starts to flutter and my heart starts going. But at the end of the day, you've just got to go, whatever, and just keep moving forward. It's all you can do. All you can do.
But also, what if this little devil wasn't there? Would you have that motivation to do things? Things don't feel that satisfying if they come easy. It's the real satisfaction, the real sense of becoming successful, or becoming, now again, I'm going to use a wonky phrase, a better version of yourself, is when you actually step out of that, you know? So totally. RuPaul is a clever guy.
Don't even get me started on RuPaul.
I know.
Episode 62, everyone.
I loved that episode. So
thank you so much. I did too. I was very happy to record that.
That was very authentic, by the way. Very authentic.
Yes, that was me being my authentic self.
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah. Well, I just think inspiration is so important. And again, it's about, you do need headspace to be creative and get inspired. But I can't help anyone with that at the moment, but I do have another question for you. So I would say that one of the most difficult aspects of being self-employed is this fear of inconsistent sales and maybe having periods of low to no income. So, what's the plan here?
It's a very interesting question that used to scare me like hell. It used to be, I think it used to come up as one of the first things that people would ask me, or I would ask myself. Thanks to being in it for a few good months now, and also talking to some people who are more experienced than I am in business, I do have a plan. Okay. And this plan involves periods of you're gonna go do well, you're gonna have high energy and you're gonna sell like crazy, and then you're gonna have periods of low, and it's very normal, but it all evens out. Okay, it all evens out as long as you have a long-term plan, and do not just think short-term in terms of, okay, how am I going to make money this month? How am I going to make money the next month? No, I've got a plan for at least a full year that includes how I want my life to look. I visualize my life actually. Obviously have very, very clear financial goals. And as long as I am on track, then obviously it's a bit stressful if 1 month is great and then another month is looking like it's going to be much lower. But still, I know eventually it's all going to be okay.
Brilliant. Love it. Yeah. Planning is essential, I think, in this kind of thing, isn't it? You can't really sort of move forward without it. So the reason I brought you on here is so you can give some really good tips for any ELT professional who is considering going it alone, whether they are going to design courses for other teachers or for other students, or maybe do something like you're doing and you're actually mentoring and coaching teachers. So, okay, I'm really excited about what you're going to say.
Yay. So I've had a big think about it, and I've tried to kind of reverse engineer what my steps and my best sort of practices were. Okay. So this is all from experience. My number one thing, however woo-woo is going to sound, has to be mindset. Okay. We as educators, unfortunately, have lots and lots of limiting beliefs around ourselves, around, so we've got all our problems, all our issues from childhood and stuff like that, but it's also things around education. So for example, we think that education should be accessible to everybody. That's why we wouldn't probably charge as much as we would want to, right? We think that exactly the market, ELT market, is saturated. Okay. I don't like thinking about that anymore. I know it is probably, but if you focus and if you make a conscious decision to focus on the fact that you're here as your one and only self, your authentic self, you're going to be fine. Because even if you do something super similar to somebody else, like, I don't know, selling business English courses, you do it your own way and you're going to attract your own people. So just not to talk about it for too long, but mindset is extremely important. Before I even start talking to people about any sort of strategies, I make them work on their mindset, because without that, we cannot go too far. I've got people that I work with and I've worked with, or who ask me for advice, and I give them tangible pieces of advice and strategies, but then they reply to me saying things that show that they don't believe in themselves and the product at all. Okay. Right. And if you don't believe in that, then I can give you all the strategies in the world and you're not going to take it seriously at all.
Yeah, so that's such a good point. And like, just speaking from my own experience, like, I've been frustrated in the last few years, like I can do more, but I wasn't sure what. But then there was always that fear stopping me as well. Like I could never launch my own online business. I could never do this. But now I'm like, well, maybe I could. But it's a battle. It's a process. You have to work on your self-esteem and your mindset every single day.
Yep. Yeah.
That's another thing that RuPaul says.
Ah, yeah, no, but it is a process, so it's not going to happen overnight. I still work on my mindset. I still have like money blocks and things like that. I don't think I should be like, I can't charge a certain amount because, you know, people wouldn't pay, and it's all in me. It's never got to do anything with people and my clients or whatever. So it's extremely important.
Yeah.
And I know you can, and that's why it's so important to actually have people who believe in you before you start believing in yourself. And that was going to be my second tip. It's whether you surround yourself with what I call entrepreneurial friends. Okay, so people who actually understand business and what it means to start your own business. Sorry, but never ask for any advice. Do not ask your friends or family, because they will always try and project their fears and their insecurities. Very often it's people who, like for example, in my family, people in my family would say, oh, are you sure you want to do that? Are you sure you want to quit your job? But it's so risky. They project their own fears of maybe they wanted to try something in the past, and now they've got someone to project it onto. So never, ever do that.
So interesting. So interesting.
It's something that I've also learned, because I thought, oh, okay, I'm just going to tell all my friends what I do. They don't understand. They don't know what questions to ask me. They don't know. They like, oh, okay. When I tell people I've got my business, they still treat it as, oh, it's like a side gig, right? No, I eventually want to retire my husband with my business. It's not a side gig. But in order to have that feeling that you know it is a serious thing, because you might be doubting that it's serious, but people in your family and your friends might feed into that feeling as well.
Exactly. And that again, like, it's, for some reason it's so much easier to listen to the devil than the angel, and all you need is one little bit of confirmation from someone you know and trust, or any like little doubts raised, and like, oh, okay, maybe I shouldn't do that then as well.
Oh yeah, it's so much easier to stay in that.
Yeah.
Because you've been in that for your whole life. You mentioned yourself as an example that you've been quite frustrated. Can I start my own business? The reason why you've been in it for so long is because that fear was always there, but now you're crashing through it. And this is the hard part. Yeah. So yeah, having a mentor, having a coach, why not? And I'm not only saying it because I'm trying to sell anything here. The first and best decision I ever did was finding myself a coach who helped me with my mindset and with my strategies and processes. I cannot underestimate the fact that this was life-changing. And my business accelerated when I started being surrounded with other people who thought in the same way, who had fears, but were ready to take action to move their business forward.
Yeah. And you still often mention your coach. So are you still being coached? Yeah. So there you go. It never stops.
It never stops. She always says, even coaches have coaches. She's a successful coach who has been a coach for years, and she has a coach. So I'm pretty sure her coach has a coach. So it's just a never-ending story.
It is.
Yeah, I originally signed up with her for 3 months, and now we extended it for another year.
Wow.
Because I want to reach my goals, hopefully exceed them, you know?
Yeah. But that's a really interesting side note, because I mean, it's easy to say get a coach, and people might be thinking, oh, just 2 months, 3 months, whatever. But no, think long term. Yeah.
Agree. Exactly.
So
I've created that space because I recognize that need. So there are people who work with me and decided to work with me long term. I've got my community, so people can join it and can be supported by other people who have sort of similar problems or ideas, and who could use the support and the accountability as well. And I think it's great. And I see the results. People feel really cheered by each other. Oh, the best way, and that was going to be my next tip, to kind of let your personality shine and let yourself be authentic, because that's what it is. A lot of people think that they're going to do some research, they're going to go on social media and see what everybody else does, and then they're going to just do something similar. It's literally the opposite that you're supposed to do. So I cannot again stress enough how important it is to have your own very original, but by very original, I mean authentic to you version of what you want to do and what you want to offer in ELT, whether it is serving some specific people, whether it is serving, creating some specific courses or programs or whatever else, it really needs to be yours. So finding your niche, what I is what I was going to say, is something that I always recommend. It's much easier, especially when you're starting solo, to focus on a very, very narrow group of people. As an example, again, there are coaches and mentors who help people in education run their businesses online, but I haven't found many people who are specific to the ELT industry. So that's my narrow field, and that's my narrow tribe, of people. I now call them my tribe because they totally are my tribe, and I know my niche, and that's why I can serve them well. And this is the way to go, I feel. And I guess my last tip was going to be something that we already said at the beginning, but again, it's one of the first things I always say to my clients, is that setting yourself goals, smart goals. As teachers, we know what smart goals are, so it shouldn't be a problem. But people just forget. People think, oh, I'm just going to do something, okay? But where is this going? Okay, what do you want to achieve? Because as long as it's going to be just some sort of a, oh, okay, maybe I'll try looking for some students online. No, say how many, by when. Okay, how are you going to teach them? One-to-ones, groups? Do you want to build a course? Do you want to have passive income? Do you want to have conversation classes? Whatever it is, set yourself a tangible, smart goal, and then take action. Take little steps, baby steps every day. As long as it's action, as long as you take action, everything will be okay. You will always feel that you're not ready, that you're like, oh, I'm going to do it when I have more time, because now it's autumn, so it's really busy at work. When you remind yourself of your goals, then it might be easier for you to get motivated to start doing, because those little steps, those little actions are going to eventually lead to something bigger. So that's especially for people who are thinking of a pivot from working for somebody else to working for yourself. And I guess that's it. This is the most important things that I've done and still work for me, basically.
Yeah, I think the taking the little steps thing is, like I talked about near the beginning, is really important. And I think also the more steps you take, the more you achieve. And you can look back and go, I actually did A, B, and C this week. And then your motivation grows as well.
Exactly.
And then that little nagging voice in your head going, I don't have time for this, that gradually sort of disappears, because you become more motivated and focused. Your focus definitely becomes stronger and narrower, I think.
Exactly. What I've heard once, and I thought it was very clever, that motivation is not a given. It's a muscle. It's something that we can and should work on. So if you don't feel motivated and you keep finding, I dare say, excuses not to work on that idea that, is supposed to lead to something bigger in your life, then know that the more you do it, the easier it will come to you. And it's totally, like you say, it's you're going to be more motivated to sit down and do certain actions, whether it is opening social media accounts, whether it is actually starting to build your website or your offer, whatever it is, doing always helps.
Brilliant. Love it. Thank you so much. I suppose we should finish with the most important question. Do you have anything you would like to plug?
So obviously people can find me for that kind of tips that I just shared on Instagram. I'm very active on Instagram at Ola_Kowalska_ELT, where, yeah, I really do share a lot of tips, but also motivation for ELT entrepreneurs, for people who want to open or are already in business. And I work with people in different ways. One of my signature offers is my one-to-one program, and that's, I guess, something that I could plug at the moment, because there are some openings for one-to-one spots later in November. So if anybody is interested, I would love to have a free complimentary chat discovery call about it, to see how I can help you, because I would love to. And there is another way of working with me. It's something very exciting that only just started in September. It's a club for ambitious ELT entrepreneurs called ELTpreneurs.
Oh, how clever.
Yeah, I know. I think I keep saying that I did, but my husband says he did invent that word, whatever. I think I should trademark it, because it's a really clever. It's a club, it's a membership for people who are taking their first steps in business, who want to build whatever they really want, but are English language teachers or trainers and want to get out there with their offer and need a bit of support, accountability, and a community of people who have the same goal. And the doors to the membership will open again very soon. So I would advise anyone to whom it sounds interesting to keep their eyes peeled and join us when you can. It's a low monthly investment, and we would love to have you there as well, to support you and have you on board as our ELT entrepreneurial friend, basically.
Thank you, Ola. Congratulations on all your success. From what I know of you, you deserve it. You're always working. You're always working, and you're always willing and ready to help people if they have a question. So thank you very much. And yeah, thank you for taking the time to come onto my little podcast.
Yeah, thank you so much. I'm honored, Erin, because I love working with you as well. I love how we bounce ideas off of each other. I really appreciate that kind of space to be able to share my tips. So yeah, thank you for having me.
It was an absolute pleasure.
Thanks.
As for you lot, you know where you can find me. Instagram. I've actually just changed my handle to Everything EFL Teacher, and Facebook as well, Everything EFL Podcast. I also have a private community on Facebook. It's called Everything EFL Teacher Development, so you could find that and request to join. What else? That's it for the moment. I look forward to seeing you in a couple of weeks, and until then, take care of yourselves. Have a lovely, peaceful week. Share the love. Bye.